Hi, welcome to the second session of the 5 that I've created for getting ready for that paper 3. Remember that the link to all the exam questions is available in the description. So let's crack on. Now, the first question is using a keyword regular. As soon as you read that, you should be putting down the formula triangle that goes with it, which is 360, the top with your side and exterior either side of that. Now, we've been told it's 12 sides, so 360 divided by 12 gives us the exterior angle of 30. And then using our straight line rule, we know that the interior is 150. Now, because the polygon is regular, it means all the edges are equal. So we're looking at an isosceles triangle right there. So 180 take away 150 brings us back to our 30. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So that missing angle they wanted us to find is 15 degrees. Okay, so this is an algebraic fraction. We're going to concentrate just on the left-hand side to start off with. And please remember that algebraic fractions follow all the same rules as normal fractions. So we have to get the denominators the same. So we're going to cross multiply. The numerator is going to be multiplied by 3 and the numerator of the second fraction by 4. That will be all over 12. Now, when you expand those brackets, just be really careful with that negative. You are multiplying through by -4. Tidy those up and you've got x minus 26 all over 12, equaling the right-hand side, which we haven't done anything with yet. Now, we want those denominators to be the same because if they are, then we are literally just looking at equivalent fractions. So by doubling the right-hand side, I will end up with x minus 26 over 12 equaling 2 minus 2x over 12. Because they are equivalent, the numerators equal each other. So we've got x minus 26 equaling 2 minus 2x. And now we're just going to go on and solve this in the normal way. We're going to move the smaller set of x's across. It will land as a positive in this case. So we end up with 3x minus 26 equaling 2. Hop your minus 26 to land as plus 26. This gives 3x equals 28. Divide through by that 3, and x is equal to 9 1/3. If in doubt with any of your negatives, please remember to use your calculator. That is what it is there for. Okay, so our next question is quite a big question, so you have to take your time to read through it and look for those key words. We are being told to find the angle between the rod and the base. So we mark that on. It's really clear what it is we're trying to find. Another key piece of information is that the radius is 5. If that's 5, the diameter is 10. And I've got that line stretching across, so it's good to have that in place. So I know the volume is equal to pi r squared times by the height. I know that r squared, 5 squared is 25. So I've got 25 pi times through by that height equaling 1,178. And now I can just undo that, get h on its own, and I can work out that the value for the height is 14.998, on and on it goes. So I'm going to put the information onto my diagram now. I've got 10 for the base of that right angle triangle I can see, and 14.99, on and on it goes for the height. Now I've got a soccer toer on my hands. I can see I have the opposite and the adjacent. So I've got tan theta equaling 14.998 divided by 10. If I want to know what the angle equals, I need to get it on its own. Tan will move across, land as its inverse, which is tan minus 1. And we've got 1.4998 going in with that to give 56.3 degrees as our final answer. So a nice little 3D trig there. Okay, we've got a bounds question. Now this one is asking us to consider bounds plural. So we are going to be working out more than just one solution. First thing that we always do is find the upper and lower bounds for everything. Now we want to work logically here. Just make sure that you're putting every combination there is together. So we've got 6.43. I'm using the upper bound. I'm going to divide that by the upper bound, and then I'm going to use the 6.435 again, but put it over the lower bound. Root them both, and then we can pop it in our calculators to get our results. And like I say, be systematic, be logical in your approach. I've just done the numerator with the upper bound, so now I'm going to do it with the lower bound. So 6.425 over the upper bound first, and then the lower bound. Again, make sure you remember to root and pop it all into your calculator. Now you want to write a good number of decimal places because we're going to be doing this to a suitable degree of accuracy. We want to make sure that we've got enough decimal places to really inspect the results. Now the first two are going to round to 1.08, and the last two would also round to 1.08. So all the bounds agree to 2 decimal places on a result of 1.08, which is why we would call that our suitable degree of accuracy. Okay, we have a huge simultaneous equation question, probably one of the hardest that we've seen. You rearrange your linear, which is giving us a fraction. That's not common, but it was certainly the case in this question. Now you're going to substitute your 7 minus 3x over 4 into where the y is. And then we're going to just concentrate on that first bit and crab's claw that out, because there's quite a bit to do just there. So once you've crab's clawed, you will end up with 49 minus 42x plus 9x squared all over 16. But we don't want to forget that actually our y squared has got that 4 in front of it. So we need to now multiply our result through by 4. And I wouldn't actually do that multiplication into the numerator. Because we have got a divide by 16, actually, we've got 4/16. That cancels to a quarter, and we're able to then leave the numerator alone and just pop the whole thing over 4, which does help us a little bit there. So what have we got now? We've got x squared minus all of our 49 minus 42x plus 9x squared over 4. And that's equaling 9. At this stage, I'm going to times 3 by 4 because I really want to get rid of that denominator. So I've got 4x squared. At the same time, I'm just expanding that bracket with the negative that's up against it, which is switching all of those signs around. So I've got my minus 42 going to positive 42, etc. When I tidy that line up, I'm going to end up with minus 5x squared plus 42x minus 85, which equals 0. But I don't want a negative x squared if I can help it. So the thing to do here is to multiply through by minus 1. Now, if you've got a lot of confidence, you would have probably done that earlier when you were timesing by the 4 and just make it times by minus 4. But I wanted to clearly show those steps in what's happening. So that's going to turn all of those operations to their opposites. I've got a positive 5 now, and I can go on and solve. I have chosen to factorize. So I multiplied my 5 and 85, and then I looked at the factors. You can use the quadratic formula. You have it on your formula sheet, and it will work just as well. So 25 divided by 5 is 5, so x equals 5. Remember to use that opposite sign, and x is equal to 17 over 5. So I've got my values for the x variable, and now I'm going to use that to help me find my y variable. So we're going to use 3x plus 4y equals 7, and substitute in the 5. We're then going to start to rearrange to get y on its own. So if I take off the 15, I'll have 4y equaling minus 8. And if I divide through by the 4, then y is equal to minus 2. So state really clearly, if you don't have a dotted line or anything like that, when x equals 5, y equals -2. We're then going to repeat the process, but this time we're going to substitute our 17/5. Now, you can use decimals. You don't have to use fractions. You've got your calculator. Your calculator is going to do the actual maths for you. You've just got to communicate it to your examiner. So you've got to write everything down. We're going to start tidying this up. So taking off the 3 times 17/5 to give us 4y equals -16/5. Again, divide through by that 4, and you can see that y is equal to -4/5. So when x is 17/5, y is -4/5. So yeah, pretty big, that one. I hope it has gone well. I hope the solution has helped if it didn't, and I will see you tomorrow in session 3.